The name of this video is Removing and Reinstalling Your Hardwood Floor. There are 4 parts to this video. The reason I removed and reinstalled my hardwood floor is because the original installer didn't follow the manufacturer's installation instructions. One of the mistakes the installer made was in not providing gaps at the walls to allow the floor to expand. After a couple of years, the floor buckled and became detached from the subfloor. It moved when we walked on it and creaked and popped, sometimes when we weren't even in the room. We had to fix this floor. I made this video so that if you are faced with the same problem, you may benefit from what I've learned. Before you start, you'll need to have extra flooring which matches your existing flooring. Unfortunately, you'll have to destroy some flooring, mostly at the beginning of the removal process. However, I found that I was able to recycle, that is, reinstall in the same location, approximately 95% of my flooring. This flooring is 3/4 inch thick pre-finished Brazilian cherry. It has an OSB subfloor and was attached with staples. Your floor may be attached with cleats or some other flooring method, which may make your floor removal more difficult or easier. I can only show you what worked for me in my particular situation. You should watch this entire video before you start. You may decide that this isn't the project for you. You have to be in fairly good physical condition, able to get up and down from the floor many times, and you'll have to work a lot on your knees. Also, I suggest you start in a closet or somewhere less visible. I started in our walk-in closet where I could test out my methods and make sure that I knew what I was doing. The floor that you're looking at right now is one that I removed and reinstalled over a year ago. We just went through one of our wettest winters, and last week went through a heat wave of 90 to 100 degree temperatures. We don't have air conditioning. The floor has remained solid and quiet. Here's another close-up view of our reinstalled floor. As you can see, the baseboards are caulked and the flooring looks as good as new. I didn't have to repaint this wall because I was very careful in the way that I removed the baseboards. I'll show you how to do that. So let's get started. Okay, so now we're in a room that's in progress, and I'll show you what tools you need to do this job. This room I've already leveled the subfloor, put the underlayment back down, and I've started installing the floorboards. I'm up to this point right now. Okay, what you need for this job are shop vac, a board, piece of plywood. Sometimes you're going to be prying and you don't want to put the pry bar against your nice floor. So you want to have something to pry against. You need a lag bolt, large lag bolt. I'll explain what that's for later. You need a planer. This is for planing the subfloor to get it to within the manufacturer specifications. The nice thing about the planer is that I can plug my vacuum into this and the hose goes right into my shop vac, so all the dust and the wood chips go right into my shop vac. Most planers are adjustable. This will take as little as a 1/48 of an inch off up to 1/8 of an inch in one pass. So normally I took only like 1/16 of an inch off at a time because you don't want to overdo it and end up with a gully or something in your subfloor. You want to minimize the work that you have to do. So you just do a little bit at a time. And it worked fine. I used sanders in the past. That was a big headache. Some of the sanders were heavy. I had sawdust everywhere. So now I use the floor planer. Or a door planer rather. Okay, 7-foot level. You're going to need this 7-foot level to level your subfloor. In my manufacturer's instructions, it says that the floor shouldn't be off more than 3/16 of an inch and 7 feet. So you put this level down on your subfloor, you run it along the floor, different places, you mark with your marking pens where the high spots are, then you use your planer to plane it down. Okay, you're going to need knee pads, you're going to need latex gloves, you're going to need safety glasses. You're going to need earplugs. When you have a planer and your vacuum running at the same time, it can get pretty noisy. Gonna need a utility knife, as you can see. You're gonna need pliers, a wood chisel. As we come over to the side, you're gonna need screwdrivers. I have a smaller level that I use in smaller places. I have a rubber mallet. That's for hammering down the floorboards. Sometimes they're a little bit high because the little nubs from the staples are still underneath, so I want them to dig into the underlayment and the subfloor. So I use a rubber mallet. That way you won't damage the top of your floor, your nice finish. A hammer, use the hammer for tapping the boards into place. Use putty knives, which I'll explain what those are for later. Need a jigsaw, electric drill, extra batteries. You're gonna need a screwdriver for your drill. You're gonna need a 5 30-seconds drill bit, which is roughly the same size as the shank on the screws that we're gonna use. These are the kind of screws that I use to screw the floorboards down. They're made by GRK, 8 by 2 inch trim head screws. While I'm on this, you pre-drill the floorboards because they're very hard. Otherwise the screws will cause the boards to split. So you don't want to split your floorboards. And you drill just until you feel the drill give. That means you're through your floorboards. You don't want to pre-drill all the way down into your subfloor. Subfloor is soft. You want these screws to bite into the subfloor to pull the floor down tight. And they do. They're very good at that. So remember, only drill through your floorboards, not your subfloor. Okay. You need a jigsaw for cutting the ends of the boards off. I'll show you that later, how that works. You'll need over here on this side, you need a flat pry bar. This is called a Stanley Wonder Bar. And I'll tell you, this thing is worth its weight in gold. I'll show you how to use that later. This is the one to the right of it is made by a company called Roberts. This is a pro pull bar. It's for pulling boards together, the floorboards. Sometimes you're in a place where, like at the wall, you can't go to the end of the wall and tap. There's no place to put your hammer to tap the boards in place. So what you do is you put this over the edge of your floor, and then you hammer this part over here. And I'll show you later how that works. You always want to have this rag underneath, because sometimes when you hammer, I noticed that it can damage the surface of your floor, put marks on it. Even though this has a little pad underneath of it, see a little pad there? It still marks my floor. So I always put a rag underneath when I use it. You're gonna need magic markers, you're gonna need masking tape, scissors, flashlight. Sometimes you work in dark places. The wire brads you'll use later for nailing the baseboards back on. Tape measure. You need wood filler and a stain pen. This will come in handy. You'll see if you have to top nail something, you want to fill it in again with wood filler, then you can use the stain pen to color it. You can buy these in big box stores or flooring stores. You'll need a caulking gun later on when you do put the baseboards back on. This is latex caulk, and you can wash if you get too much on or make a mess, you can wash it off with water. So that's good. And this is a dripless caulking gun. That's very handy because when you release the trigger, the piston pulls back a little bit. It doesn't keep pushing caulk out. It stops when you release the trigger. And I'll show you how to use that later. That works out really good. And you got your rubber cement, which occasionally, I've only had to use it once. I chipped a piece of wood out of the surface of the wood, and I was able to glue it back in again. And that's it for now. One tool that I forgot to mention are these nippers. These are very important for cutting off the staples, the flooring staples that are in the floor. These are very good quality nippers. The name is Nip-X. They're made in Germany. I bought them at a big box store. What I did is I added these 1/2 inch Schedule 40 PVC pipes on the handles. Two things about that really helped. It adds extra leverage, and it gives you more surface area on your hands, and also the PVC pipes have some give to them, so it makes it much less painful to snip off these staples. Hands didn't get sore. It was made the job a lot easier.